just woke up maybe like a half hour ago. So it is morning here in New York City. It is going on 8 o'clock here in New York City. And I'm feeling good. This topic kind of came to me, I think last night. I was inspired to this topic because I've been receiving a lot of comments on my previous videos on YouTube relating to cuckold. And it's a great thing. I'm excited for you guys. It's a awesome thing. I'm going to put my hair up. I haven't put my hair up with a scarf in a while. But I'm so excited for you guys because it's just like, wow, it's finally, should I leave it like this? I kind of like that style. I might leave it like this for the video. I was going to wear this scarf, but I don't know, I might leave it like this. Kind of like that. Sassy. Alright, but I am going to remove this polish off my nails because, y'all look. Y'all know how nail polish, girls know how nail polish be. Just, it's on one day, it's off the next. So, yeah, I've been really excited for you guys who are stepping into your greatness and just living your life and unashamedly, you know, you're going out there, you're exploring different options with your sexuality. Kudos to you guys. And I'm a little bit jealous because some of y'all got like a lot of courage. I like your braveness. I like your boldness in stepping out there and just, you know, you're exploring yourself. You're exploring what's out there. You're exploring your options. And, you know, I've seen that you guys left some comments on my videos, you know, basically stating, hey, I'm into the cuckold lifestyle, right? You're saying, like, I'm into the cuckold lifestyle. You guys are saying your locations. And basically, you're soliciting, in a sense. You're soliciting the interests of people who also share your same likeness. So I like that. And like I said, it kind of makes me a little bit jealous. I'm just like, ooh, I wish I had that kind of boldness. I mean, I have the confidence, but in terms of the courage to do that on social media. Like, I've kind of made a pact with myself that I would never, like, I have a limit, you know, when it comes to dating, right? Exploring my dating options. Like, I told myself I would just not consider dating someone from social media, any of my social media platforms, no matter if it's Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. Like, I just can't find it in myself to do it. But you guys have taken to YouTube, particularly on my comment section, and have said, like, you guys are treating it like a dating website. It's like, alright. But seeing those comments kind of made me a little bit concerned. So I guess the feminine energy within me is just like, let me give them some tips, you know, because I wanted to, like, say something in response to the comments that I saw. I was going to comment or reply to you guys' comments and say, be careful. But I figure out, you know, I'll make a video. I'll make a kind of comprehensive video on some safety tips that you guys might want to consider in meeting up with strangers from the internet for cuckold, you know, because, like, it's an alternative lifestyle. So alternative sexual lifestyle, and it's really exciting. It reminds me of when I first stumbled across BDSM. And some people are like, what? Some people still don't know what BDSM is. And I'm just like, I get so tired of explaining it, even though, like, I'm fascinated by the lifestyle. I just love it, right? But sometimes it gets, like, boring and just played out trying to explain, like, what BDSM means to people. It's just, they just don't get it. And but anyway, I remember when I first was exposed to BDSM, right? It was back in 2015. I was going to say 2014. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta get my dates right, you guys, because I've been kind of all over the U.S., right? So I moved to Atlanta in 2011. And I gotta get my dates right. I think it was 2014. The same year that I moved to New York from Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 3 years, and then I moved to New York. So I want to say it was 2014. It was like at the end of my time in Atlanta, Georgia, when I first stumbled across BDSM, and it was like so exciting. It's like the novel experience when you experience something for the first time. You get all of these swarm of emotions inside of you, and it just like it takes over you, right? To the point, I think, where it kind of shuts down your frontal lobe. It shuts down your frontal lobes, man, where, you know, it kind of inhibits your ability to be able to make logical and clear decisions because you're just so excited, right? You just overwhelmed with emotion, you know, and it's a good thing. Not to say that you should try to subdue those emotions and the feelings that you are experiencing. For you guys who are just feeling all dandy, lottie over this whole cuckold experience. I don't know if it's your first time, but I'm curious to know, for you guys who are playing matchmaker in my comment section on YouTube on those cuckold videos, I'm interested in knowing if it's your first time exploring this, or if you've done it before. Some of you guys are saying, like, you know, oh, I have experience in cuckold, or I'm experienced bull. So if you're experienced, hey, you're experienced, right? But I have to just say this. I just want to provide you guys just with a couple tips, safety tips, when it comes to having fun, when it comes to enjoying an alternative sexual lifestyle. And this is also for guys who aren't necessarily interested in cuckold, but maybe you're interested in doing some fun things with people, right? I mean, I think it goes without saying that sometimes we kind of look at alternative lifestyles, right, like as it's just this mystical thing, and sometimes we also forget that normal rules still apply, right? So it bothers me sometimes when I say, like, I'll let a person know that I'm interested in BDSM, and it's like everything that they ever learned about anything else kind of goes out the window. And I'm like, they don't know how to interact, basically, right? And it's just like, no, you interact with me like you would interact with anyone else, like formally, you know, right? You can't forget the normal standard rules of conversation, you know, and how to approach someone and how to present yourself and introduce yourself, you know? Like, you just don't jump right into the whole BDSM aspect. You know, to me, that's kind of awkward unless you already know a person. We're talking about meeting complete strangers here, right? You don't know this person, right? And they jump right into the BDSM and somehow think that I'm going to engage in a conversation, let alone the freaking activity, sexual behaviors, with a person that I don't even know. We're not going to jump to that point. It's a progression. You have to work our way to that point, which means, like, introduce yourself. And I keep telling people over and over, an introduction is not just, hi, my name is Randall. Hi, my name is Danielle. That's not a proper introduction. That's part of it, but say more about who you are. Say things that are relevant to the reason why you are expressing interest in that person. And I think a good rule of thumb is just to jump right straight to the punch. Some people beat around the bush, and it's like, we're adults. Time is out. Time out for beating around the bush, taking forever to just get straight to the point of your interest, right? You know, like, you want to be respectful about it, right? You want to be classy. Have a little bit of dignity and class when you go about sharing your intent with a person, right? It's words you can use, it's ways you can say, hey, I'm interested in being a cuckold, or I'm interested in being a bull. You know, you don't want to kind of use vulgar or disrespectful language, you know, because that's going to shut the person down. But you also want to be direct. I think people can appreciate directness, right? Talk about who you are, where you live. You know, you want to state your age. For some people, whether or not you have kids is important. For me, of course, that's important because I don't have kids. I'm looking to build a family. It all depends on where the other person's coming from and what your intent is, what their intent is, right? That may be relevant information whether or not you have kids, but for me, that's important. And another important detail that a lot of people leave out during the introduction is, do you live alone? Now, the thing, let me tell you, because it's a different way you can say it, right? And what gets under my skin is when people say, I can host, right? And this is in the context of, you know, us getting to know each other in the world of BDSM. And you're like, I can host. I'm like, why are you jumping to that? I mean, yes, just because I'm interested in BDSM doesn't mean that it's just all about sex for me and I'm just looking to engage in sexual activity with every other person who's interested in BDSM. That's like the false assumption that people make of LGBTQ. Just because a person identifies himself as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender doesn't mean that they are interested in all people who fit under that umbrella. That's just not how it goes, right? Or whether or not you fit or you don't fit, that doesn't mean that. Just because a person, essentially what I'm saying is, just because a person is homosexual, like a man is homosexual, right? He likes men, doesn't mean he likes all men, you know, or all gay men for that matter. It's just like, get over yourself, right? So just because, like for my example, that I'm interested in BDSM doesn't mean, first of all, that I want to do it with you. But they be like, oh, I can host. Just say you have your own place. Why jump to, you can host? So that already kind of sets the vibe. That it goes to show what you're thinking in your mind. You're thinking about sex. You're already there. Can we build a connection first? This is what I mean by the normal rules of conversation and getting to know a person that you don't know still apply. They still apply. That's just me. Now some y'all savages. You know, some of y'all are savages and y'all jump right straight to the punch and just like, hey, I'm looking to get fucked up. Yes, you know, my wife is looking to be fucked by a well-endowed. Let me watch my language, because sometimes YouTube be getting on me with my language. But, you know, some of y'all may be at that point where you can just jump right on in there and say, hey, my wife is looking to be pleasured by a well-endowed bull, a black bull like that, you know. But you, just because you feel secure in saying that unapologetically doesn't mean that the other person is going to be able to receive it, right? So I feel like we should always be considerate of another person. It's just the rule of thumb for me in conversation, especially with people that I don't know, is just to always keep it professional. And it should be easy, right? It should come without a rule book if you are a professional, which most of you guys are. I mean, most of you guys work in corporate, right? So let's just keep to the rules of corporate, you know. And then once you get to know a person, you can establish your own comfort level, right? And your own rules. I mean, you're going to establish your own rules, written and unwritten rules, of how you interact with each other. But I think, you know, you just go with what's already there, right? You know, we already have an established way of doing things, you know, in our culture. And just stick to that. That's what people can understand. That's what people respect. This is the reason why I say, like, just stick to the standard rules of engagement. And then, you know, once you get to know a person, y'all can go and create your own language, a way of communicating with each other that you feel comfortable with, right? But as far as like saying, oh, you can host, like, why jump to that? That, to me, that irks my nerve when people do things like that. It irks me. They jump to those, like, you can host. I don't even know if I like you like that. You talking about you can host. I laugh and I don't really respond to that because I'm just like, please, please. What's up, cousin? I don't think you're interested in this topic, by the way. Maybe you just stopping in to say hello. But yeah, I'm making this video for people who are interested in meeting cuckolds, like participating in the cuckold lifestyle, right? And I was sparked to do this video. What's up, Jay? I was sparked to do this video from seeing the interaction on my videos in my comment section on YouTube. I was just like, oh, y'all got your own thing going. I'll let it go, because I'm just like, as long as you guys are respectful towards each other, then I'm okay, you know. It becomes a problem when people are disrespectful, but like, I'm really impressed to see like what's happening in my comment section on my cuckold videos. And I created a whole playlist, so you guys can go to my YouTube channel. For you guys who are on Facebook, go to my YouTube channel. It is Danny's World, or you can find it by clicking on youtube.com/author D Leach. That's author as an author of a book, D as in the first initial of my first name, and Leach, Leach, which is my last name. Author D Leach. That's the link that you will go to on YouTube, actually. And go to the playlist, you know, look for my playlist on my YouTube channel, and you'll find the cuckold playlist. So just click on it, and I'm just like, all right, y'all doing it, you know, because of course I get notifications anytime someone comments on a YouTube video of mine, and y'all just been going for the last several days. They've been going in, and I'm just like I said, you know, I'm an honest person. Like I said, like, I'm a little jelly. So I'm like, I want to have fun too. Because I saw somebody commenting, he looked really handsome. It's like, I'm a bull. I think he says from Canada or somewhere. And he looked handsome. And I just kind of got like, have fun. Y'all making arrangements without me. So I guess this video is kind of part of my attempt to be a part of it, but no, I can't be a part of y'all fun. Y'all gonna go have y'all fun, right? But I do want to provide safety tips, and you enjoy learning about everything. That's good. See, I'm an open person too. Just, you know, open myself up to learning about different things. And going back to when I first was introduced to the whole BDSM world back in 2014, I believe it was 2014, you know. So time goes by and you just like, sometimes you lose track of time. As you age, like my birthday is next month, I'll be 37, and I'm just like, sometimes you just lose track of time. But I want to say it was 2014, because that was the year where I was leaving Atlanta and moving to New York. That was a big transition year, and like I said, I was so excited to come across this new thing, new world of BDSM, and I wrote about it. I wrote a fictional story. It's part autobiographical, so part of it is true, but it's fictional, for you guys who are wondering, because I know you guys say, oh, is this you? I like writing fiction in first person. I just do, because I think I can identify with the characters in these stories that I write so much, to the point where I'm writing about myself, but I'm writing about a fictional character in the story. So Cuckold is, and I did some research too. So I initially learned about cuckold, the word, I think, from a person commenting on my YouTube video, and they defined it for me. But I initially was exposed to the whole thing about cuckold from my ex, who was not involved in the lifestyle at all. It's a heterosexual Jamaican American male from New York City. And he had told me when he was in the military how he got presented with so many offers from white men who were married, asking him would he fuck their wives. He told me about this. Like, this came up in a conversation. Me and him talked about everything, because that's the kind of person I am. Like, you guys think I talk to you guys about everything? Like, you should see my friends, people who I, are in my intimate circle. Like, I'm open, right? As long as I feel comfortable. And so we would talk about anything, I don't judge. And he told me, yeah, this was before me and him met, when he was in the military. He was like, yeah, these white guys would want to pay me to fuck their wives. And so I didn't know the name for it at the time. I didn't know it was called cuckold, And so after, I think, bringing that scenario up in one of my videos, somebody told me, like, they mentioned the name. I learned so much from the people who comment on my videos. They be coming with all kind of terminology. Somebody emailed me asking me, can I do a video on human sperm competition? And I had to look it up. I was like, okay, I think I know what it is, but I don't really know the premise of it, right? And so I looked it up. I was like, okay, I learned a lot from you guys. But basically, it's where, a man agrees to allowing other men to pleasure his wife, his significant other. And in doing so, he becomes a cuckold. So the married man who allows, or I don't like the word allow because it makes it seem like, he owns her. And I like being owned, in the world of BDSM, who understand that language, who can appreciate and respect that language, but some people don't, so I have to be careful with my wording here. But, it's basically a man who agrees, to his wife being pleasured by other men. He becomes a cuckold. The men who enter the relationship are bulls. I made a whole video about this, so you might want to go back and watch you got to go and start from the first video in the series, in the Cuckold series, which is on my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel at Danny's World and click on the playlist entitled Cuckold. I think it's called Cuckold series or something like that, Cuckold. But just click on it and you'll see. I think I may have at this point 5 videos in the series. This will be number 6, I believe. And I break it down. And the reason why I keep coming back making more, because I've gotten a good response from people who actually like to see me make these videos. I didn't know I didn't even know it was a thing. Honestly, you never know until you kind of put something out there in the universe and you see how the universe responds. And I'm just like, wow, people actually like this. And so why not give them more what they like? And I like it too. I like talking about alternative things like this, alternative sexual lifestyles, so they like it. I love it. Why not talk about it, So I just give the people what they want. Yeah, so back in 2014, that was a year right there. That was a year. To me, it's refreshing, like, coming across a different lifestyle. It's very refreshing, and very, like, invigorating. It's titillating just to come across something that you haven't experienced before, especially when you thought that you lived life, you've done it all. And as you age, you're just like, oh, I haven't tried that. It's just a novel experience. And with a novel experience, it's just new connections that are being made in the brain. It's like learning. You learn by seeing, and you also learn by doing. And when you do those things that are new to you, that your body hasn't done before, you're creating new connections in your brain throughout your body, right? It's like a new awakening, of yourself. And so that's what I experienced back in 2014 when I first was exposed to BDSM. So I know what you guys are experiencing, Gotcha, I'm familiar, just didn't know the term. A lot of women are more open to this type of arrangement. Guys are more reserved, I think. I don't know. You'd be really surprised to see the people who are interested. I think as men have been conditioned to be, that they are more reserved when it comes to agreeing to allow, you know, another man to have sex with, to pleasure. If you look at it as pleasure, right? You don't look at it like, oh, he fucked my wife. Yeah, you gotta look at it like, you know, it's a sense of pleasure. It's for the relationship. I broke it down from a psychological perspective in my other video, you know, because you guys know I come from psychology. That's what I study, that's what I practice, and so I come at things from that angle because of ego. So that came up too. A lot of guys have concern about, so what happens if my wife, my female partner, falls in love with this bull that comes into the relationship, you know, right? Like there's some competition. And I say, okay, so she falls in love, right? I think this kind of lifestyle is for people who are comfortable in who they are. Like in your relationship, right? Because I know we want to try different things, we want to explore and have fun. There's nothing wrong with having fun, but you also have to be prepared for what comes with that, right? And so you have to just be solid in who you are and ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you even considering bringing in somebody else, aside from it being, you know, being a thing for your wife and you know, her receiving enjoyment from it? But I think you both can receive enjoyment from it, right? And it can enhance your relationship, because like they say, happy wife, happy life. And if you know there is something that your partner enjoys, right, it brings them satisfaction, it puts a smile on their face, whatever that thing is, right? As long as it's not illegal, I guess, or, you know, harmful to the body, like you're gonna end up dead or in the hospital. But as long as, you know, it's something like that where it, you know, it brings them excitement, it brings them joy, like why deprive your partner of that experience? Like you should want to make your partner happy in that sense, right? Or allow your partner to experience that happiness. You can't make anyone happy. I talked about this in my other video, but you would want to like allow, you know, agree to have your partner experience that level of happiness. And if you guys are considered one unit, it's like what makes your partner happy, right? What brings them satisfaction and joy should also bring you satisfaction and joy, you know? Because you guys are connected in that respect. Thank you, cousin. I love who you are too. Thank you. So that's just my thoughts on that. Like, but when you mentioned, because it made me think, Jay, when you said about the egos and, you know, kind of men who are reserved, who are hesitant to do this, it made me think about a comment that was left on one of my Cuckold videos on YouTube. I think it came from a black male, and it makes sense considering the context in which we live in our society, you know, the racial injustice, the police brutality, and, you know, white men kind of, you know, attacking black men and getting physical with them to the point, you know, of harm and even killing them, you know. It makes sense, right? Especially if you are constantly being inundated with these images and with these messages of the white man as a threat to the black man, and then alongside that in your personal life you are considering being a bull to a white man and his wife, right? It's just like I can understand the level of hesitancy that would come, you know, about because of that. Some of my friends who were presented with bringing another guy into the bedroom were concerned about size. What's up, Denver? So Jay, you said that they were concerned about size. I want to know more about that. Like, They were concerned. Why would they be concerned about size? That's interesting. So, yeah, going back to the racial aspect of this lifestyle, right? And, you know, the interracial aspect where, you know, you have a white man who is interested in bringing in a black bull. I get it, you know, where the black bull would just be like, I don't know, I want to do this, I want to have fun and explore, but what this is a comment, right? This is the comment that the black bull left on my video. He said, what if he tried to kill me? And I think I had a lot of, you know, initial reactions that popped up in my mind, right? So I think the first was, I identify with him, especially as a black woman. Of course, I'm going to identify with what he's saying and validate what he's saying, right? So in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, I confirm that. Like, yeah, that's a valid concern, right? But then, it's like the psychologist in me had to like kind of break it down a little bit, right? And say, well, you know, is that I mean, of course it's a valid concern, right? But any concern, any fear that a person has is valid, right? But you also have to go and do a little bit more thinking, do a little bit more critical thinking and analysis, and ask yourself, what is the likelihood, right? And that's how you can tease apart logical and illogical, right? Logical and illogical. As in, if the guy is larger than he is, once again, oh, okay. Like, people ask this question, I've been asked this question too, and I would just have to point back to sitting down, having the couple sit down, the husband and wife, and you have an honest discussion. Why are you doing this? Ask yourself this. Why are we doing this? Not to dissuade you guys from doing it, but it's good to get to the root and ask yourself, what is the motivation? And if it's for her pleasure, then what pleases her? You know, is it a well-endowed man? If that's what pleases her, then now we got to go into and if let's put it this way: if a more well-endowed man is what pleases your wife, and he's more well-endowed than you as a husband, right? And that thought of a more well-endowed man pleasing your wife triggers insecurity within you, then I think it's important to explore that insecurity, right? It's important to explore that, to have a conversation around that, you know? This is a thing that I love about humanity, you know, and just us, our human nature, is that feelings, which insecurity is a feeling that you have. They come and go, right? They can be shaped, they can change, right? They're not permanent. They don't have to stay there forever, right? So that's something that you can work with. If you have, at one point, you have feelings of insecurity, a conversation surrounding the insecurity can alleviate that insecurity, can make it go away. A different perspective, a change in mind, just, you know, changing your perspective, how you see things, can make things go away. Okay, I'm coming down to 15% battery, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Oh, I get it. But if that happens and the person is way larger than after that happens, how do you go back and please her? That's one of the arguments I hear in some of the circles I'm in. So many different ways to please, though. And I think that is a loaded question that I can't really answer in this video, because it kind of taps into my interest in BDSM, and BDSM is more than bondage, discipline, sadomasochism. You know, that's just the, you know, terminology that they put the label, or this lifestyle, but it's way more convoluted than that. Like, it's way more intricate than those four terms, right? that they lump into an acronym. It's just like the LGBT is deeper than that. It's like we go deep, right? Human beings are very complicated people, you know, complicated in a good way, I want to say. And so there's so many ways you can please your partner. It's just a matter of getting to know them. Getting to know them. Like, I have this discussion on my Facebook page about a man being able to make a woman come without even touching her physically. Can you make love to a woman without taking off her panties, right? And a man comments and says, oh, that wouldn't be any fun. I'm like, oh, really? You don't know what fun is then? If your only definition of fun is just taking off a woman's panties and penetrating her with your penis, like, you're very shallow. You're very limited. You have so much more to learn. And there's other ways that a man can be pleasured too, outside of what we think of when we think of pleasuring a man in terms of getting his dick wet with pussy, you know, or with a woman's mouth. It goes way deeper than that, guys. Like, we have more to talk about. We have more to talk about. So, yeah. Yes. So I think, yeah, that's a valid concern in terms of fear, right? But then, you know, you have to ask yourself, like, how likely is that to happen? And once you get to know a person, and once you do some critical analysis, you'll see that not all white people are dangerous. But of course, that association has been made when we have been inundated with all these negative images of the white men, particularly police, you know, who are abuse their power anyway, right? So that's like a very niche part of the population of white men, right? But people have seen that, and they overgeneralize that subset of white men to assume that all white men are dangerous and a threat to black men. And in fact, some white men are actually really safe, you know, safer probably than some black men, you know, in relation, you know, to that. So you actually, once you do some critical analysis, then you have to come back around to ask yourself again, is this a rational or irrational fear? Not to say it's not valid, because initially it can be valid. You have a reason why you have this concern, you know. It's a reason why you thought that, right? When you considered being a bull to a white man and his wife, it's a reason why that thought came to your mind. But then you go a little bit deeper, you know. Are you gonna just walk and live life and just be in fear and be afraid of all people? I had the same conversation many years ago with my ex, the same guy who told me about, you know, his experience in the military. And he's definitely pro-black, sometimes to the extreme, because you do have some extremists. It doesn't represent all pro-black people, but there are a small subset of black people who are just like, the only solution to racism is to kill off all white people, right? And he, in his mind, literally perceived all white people to be a threat to black people. There's just a belief, you know, we all have the right to our own beliefs, right? That's the belief, and I'm just like, well, I can't live like that. I can't live my life thinking that all white people are, if that's the case, like, we might as well just kill ourselves, because that's no way to live. I mean, white people in America are the majority. They own and control everything, pretty much, basically, right? So who would want to live life like that? So we have to do some more thinking to really come down to what's really real, you know. So we don't think this thing through. It would be nice to try it out, though, I must admit. Yeah, it's nice to just try different things out. So before I end this video, I do want to end by revisiting, because I kind of been jumping around answering you guys' comments. But revisiting my, you know, experience when I first came across BDSM, like, I was just overwhelmed with emotion, excited. And I want to just give you guys a little short kind of story, right, of what happens when you're overwhelmed with emotion and you want to explore a new sexual alternative lifestyle, right? I think I did that in another video I did, where I talked about he beat me into submission. I'm at 5% now. This thing, the thing about live videos, they just drain your battery. I don't have the best phone. I need to upgrade. But yeah, I talked about, you know, I think the title of the video was he beat me into submission. And I just freestyled a fictional story, but it was based on real life events that have happened to me. And some mistakes were made, you know, because just so excited. Oh, just want to, you know. And it's like certain buzzwords like get you, right? Because you know the things that you like. You know, of course, I like spankings. I like kind of a little bit of aggression, you know. Choking, light choking is fine, you know. Just certain things, right? The spankings is what get me. And, you know, this is my alter ego, right, speaking. And so he said that, you know, he's gonna spank me, he's gonna choke me, and we met, and I fear for my goddamn life. I fear for my life, guys. I was like, this was not a good idea. Like, yes, I want to have fun, I want to explore, but like I said, rules of engagement, like this basic standard rules. You got to get to know a person first. You can't jump right in. You get to know them first. You know, if you don't even know their name, you don't know where they live, you don't know nothing about that person, where they work, like, maybe you should not be fucking their wife. that's just my best advice I can leave here. As far as safety tips, you know, get to know them before you jump right in, because sometimes we can just be so excited and overwhelmed with all these good emotions that we don't think logically. It shuts down our frontal lobe. You know, they're connected. Our brain has so many different, you know, parts to it, and they're all connected, right? So one part is, you know, more activated, right? It gets overactivated, it kind of deactivates another part. So that's what happened. That's what happened in my alter ego, and I was just like, "You're choking me." I couldn't even enjoy it, because I really thought I was gonna die. Like, my alter ego, I thought I was gonna die. It was like, "You're choking me," and it brought me to tears, guys. It literally brought me to tears, because I thought I was gonna die, because we didn't really know each other, and the limits weren't really set, and just you gotta get to know the person, right? And and the good thing that he was a good person in the sense that after that, right, he stopped. After that, my alter ego we had a discussion, right? And you know, it's like debriefing. That's important. You gotta debrief. You gotta have a brief before, where you talk about stuff. Communication is just so important. Communicate. Can't emphasize this enough. So we had a communication before, a little bit before, and then, you know, an encounter happened, and then he debriefed, because he saw like I was just in shambles. I was afraid, I was crying, and I was just like, stop. He didn't think that I was serious about stop, and I was like, stop. And I'm so glad that he respected that, and he comforted me. What do they call it? Aftercare. That's what, yeah. Aftercare is important, you know, after, when you engage in these intense sexual activities. Like, he held me, you know, he listened to me. He wasn't forceful at all. He was just like, you know, cuddling me, and made sure that I was okay, and understood where I was coming from. And I was just like, yo, I thought she was like gonna try to kill me, which it felt like some women actually like to be asphyxiated. They can't breathe to the point where they're passing out. That's not me. Like, I don't mind like a little gripping. I gotta end this, because this video is about to shut off. My phone is gonna shut off, so the video will shut off. So it probably will be a part 2. But thank you guys for tuning in. Comment below. That's all I wanted to say, really. Just safety first, you know. And it's not any different than how you would engage with a normal person, or a vanilla person, so to speak, right? Who is not into all of these alternative behaviors or, you know, activities. You just get to know them, be respectful. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but there are crazier fantasies or fetishes out there. It's crazy in your mind, but it's really not crazy. It's just a matter of perception. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Love you guys. Bye-bye.